Everybody today could use tips on well-being because I think a lot of times we forget about ourselves. So whether we are an individual with autism or not, it doesn't really matter because we all could benefit from some tips and tricks on how to promote our own well-being. So on today's episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about some things that can benefit everybody. Of course, I'm going to particularly talk about people with autism since we are the Autism Society. But the things I'm going to talk about really benefit everyone. So I hope you guys get a little bit of benefit about what we're going to hear about today. Just so that you also know, in case you haven't noticed, but the information that we share on our YouTube channel, on our podcast, they are also things that are found in our weekly blog. So if you are not receiving our tip of the week, I'll go ahead and post the link here so that you'll be able to sign up and kind of get some of this information even before you hear it from us here on YouTube or the podcast. Okay. All right. So anyway, so some of the things I'm going to talk about today, the number one thing, and I am most certain that both parents and their children and their adult children, if they have them, individuals with autism, don't get is sleep, right? It just kind of seems like the world today, everybody can use more sleep and nobody gets enough of it, right? We have so many things going on, especially during holiday time, trying to cram a gazillion more things into our already packed schedule. And it could be really not only not good for our well-being, but frankly, not good for our social relationships, because I don't know about you, but if I'm tired, I'm kind of irritable and nobody really wants to be around me. And I will also tell you that I have a son who has autism and he also has epilepsy, and his brain is very sensitive to not getting enough sleep. And for him, it is a trigger to having a seizure or some type of epileptic episode. So if you are a person who has epilepsy or know someone who does, you really want to make sure that you or they get enough sleep. It is during the REM cycle that our brains kind of regenerate. And if we don't get enough good sleep, so not just light sleep, but good sleep, which generally happens between, if we go to bed, say at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, that 2 a.m. and 5 a.m., that is primary brain recovery time. So you want to make sure you're getting some good sleep there. And if you are someone who has epilepsy, I encourage you to take afternoon naps if you're going to be doing something in the evening. I can say that for my son. It's a massive benefit. Pay attention to your senses. So if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you are wearing a shirt with a tag on the back that really bothers you, just get rid of it. Cut it out if you can. But you know, sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I'll cut out a tag and it still leaves a really scratchy feeling back there. And it's not worth it. It's not worth it to be trying to work or trying to go to school or trying to get things done during the day, and you're constantly irritated by a tag or something in your shirt. If your eyes are very sensitive to bright lights, dim your computer screen or your iPad, your tablet, your phone. You can dim all those screens. Pull the blinds. Make things a little bit easier on your eyes when you're inside. Make sure that your environment isn't auditorily overwhelming. So if you are in a space, if you normally work in a space that is loud, so I don't know, maybe you have a job at the mall and it's loud and it's noisy and there's crowds, especially this time of year. You know, you could wear some earbuds, you could wear some headphones, depending upon, you know, where you are and if that's something that's possible for you. At the end of the day, I know a lot of people actually who at the end of the day, they come home, they put noise canceling headphones on, and they just take 30 minutes of complete silence because it's, you know, it's really important just to give, but actually I met a teacher a long time ago when I was kind of early into advocacy for children with special needs. And she carved out a portion of her day every day for her students that was called the brain break. And she actually had a brain break area of the classroom. And that's what she called it. And it was for all kids. It wasn't for any certain type of kid, but it was really beneficial. And really, she even encouraged fellow teachers to take the same thing during their time that they had a break time during the day. So it's super important. All right, diet. You know, there are a gazillion different books and different opinions about diet in general. Some people are very gluten sensitive, and some people, you may not see it, but yet it is an underlying condition. Lots of kids, especially, are sensitive to food colors and dyes in their foods. It's not uncommon to hear teachers say that mornings are a little rambunctious if kids are eating Pop-Tarts and sweets and things that have a lot of food colorings in them. If they come in, they see them in the cafeteria in the morning, and they're eating foods that are more like a snack food than a breakfast food. So be mindful of that. I have had a lot of people that I know who they keep a journal of their food to determine, okay, is there something that is bothering my system? And the system includes your brain. And I'll give you an example for me. I'm extremely caffeine sensitive. My hands will start shaking so bad that you might look at me and think I have like early onset Parkinson's. If I have like a coffee with flat out caffeinated coffee. Soda does the same thing. That's why I really can't consume much of it. And sadly for me, chocolate as well. I love chocolate, but I have to be really mindful of what it's going to do to me. And other than that, I don't really have any other food issues. But I just share that with you because you might be, or you might have someone in your family that is sensitive to a certain type of food, but you don't even really know it. But by keeping a food diary or a food journal, you'll be able to kind of figure out, okay, how do I operate best when I eat proteins? Maybe is my brain just more, on fire in a good way? Am I able to learn better? What happens when I eat foods that have a lot of sweets and food colors? And gluten and casein are the two biggest culprits when it comes to digestive issues and what people's internal system can break down and what it can't. I know my son is extremely sensitive to, actually both of my sons are extremely sensitive to gluten, and our family has been gluten-free for like 2.5 decades. And it's just, there's tons of food these days, tons, where you could be gluten-free. When he started being gluten-free when he was about 2.5 years old, it was really hard. There was not there was no Wi-Fi. It was a limited amount of internet for the common person. And I had to go sit in bookstores to try to figure out where am I going to buy this food. But anyway, that, recognize the foods that bother you and those that don't, and try to eat more greens because everybody knows greens are better for you. So try to do that. It'll hopefully make you feel a little bit better. Okay, music. Music can be a game changer for so many people. I mean, how many times are you feeling kind of low? Maybe you're in your car, you put the radio on, and all of a sudden your mood starts to change. In classrooms, a lot of times teachers will put music on, changes the entire environment of the classroom. So it is a really massive contributor towards our well-being and our happiness, but yet not enough people do it. Not enough people use it. And if you've got musicians in your family, oh my goodness, that's not only a really great plus for the person who's playing, whether it's the guitar, piano, the drums, no matter, yes, even the drums, but the others in their family to be able to sit and just listen to them play. And I know many people with autism who are incredible musicians and artists. That's another one. Engaging in an art can be so self-soothing to our overall, just the way that we're feeling, to our well-being. Find your tribe. So finding other people who tend to be more interested in the things that you like, so that you can feel like you're part of a community. And that doesn't mean like an autism social group. It could, but it could also mean going on Meetup. Hopefully you guys know about Meetup, meetup.com. You can go on Meetup. You can literally look for a Meetup group for basically anything. Basket weaving, walking, I mean, like anything. And so by connecting with other humans that are interested in the same thing that you are, it's very cool. And a lot of times the arts, especially, those people are just in general very eclectic, very diverse, very accepting of each other. And people who might learn or process differently mesh in really beautifully with that group. So I encourage you to do that, because I think far too often, especially those of you who are parents, we tend to look for these autism groups, right? These autism social groups, or an autism gymnastics class, or I don't really understand that, because the tremendous amount of benefit that your child can get out of gaining social skills from people who are already naturally good at social skills is enormous. And frankly, those other kids or adults, they benefit by your presence. They benefit by you being there, by you looking at things a little bit differently than maybe they did before. So when we separate and segregate people out, generally speaking, it's not a great thing for society. So the more you can do that, the more beneficial it's going to be to everyone. Embrace self-stimulatory behavior. When my son was young, sadly, it was really common to see a teacher. And this was practice, like this was part of the deal. And if this is still happening, if you are a parent, this is still happening in your child's class, I hope that you say something to them about it. But adults who walk around going, quiet hands, quiet hands, quiet hands. Oh my goodness. I heard that so many times during my early years with, trying to figure out how to parent my son. And people who engage in self-stimulatory behavior do it because it is helping them. It is giving them some well-being. It is soothing them. It is making them feel more grounded in the space where they presently are. So sometimes the worst thing we could do is tell them to stop it. It doesn't really even make any sense. And if you are fortunate enough to talk to people with autism who can describe it to you and describe how they feel and what they get out of it, I want you to do that. I want you to talk to them, because, and this is another, for instance, I see sometimes middle school, high school kids where they need to pace. They need to walk, they need to move around. And if they're doing that in the back of the classroom, they're not bothering anybody. And they're able to process the instruction from the teacher so much better. Because just by telling somebody, you have to sit down, you have to be still, put your bottom in your chair, keep your hands still, that does not make them pay better attention. You might think it does because they're physically still. That does not mean that their brain is paying any attention and able to process any of that information. So if that's what makes them feel good and makes them feel grounded, gives them that better sense of well-being, just be like Elsa and let it go, because it's beneficial. You want to take time to recharge your battery. And, everybody has a different recharging station, right? Some of us, it's laying on a couch, reading a book. Some of it's going for a walk. For some of us, it's going to the gym and doing a workout. So whatever that is for you, don't forget to take time to recharge. For most of us, I think it means kind of just getting away from the situation that might be agitating us. So whatever that is for you, try to do that. And the last thing I have to say is just make your own stress buster kit. And so that would be kind of like a sensory box. I have lots of kids where in a classroom, we might have a sensory box, might be right next to their desk, it might be in the back of the classroom. There might be a sensory station in the room where they can access anytime. The one thing that we don't want to see in a classroom is a sensory station that is on a schedule. Because that means that no matter what that kid's sensory needs are, that they're going to go there at 10:33 every day, when they might need items in that sensory station every 20 minutes. For say 2 minutes. Everybody's system is a little bit different. So again, parents, work with your schools to figure out what is it for your child. What is the time? What type of activities? Because, those spinners became really popular a couple of years ago. But sometimes the spinners can actually amp someone up instead of bring them down. So don't listen to other people who say, well, here's your sensory kit, because you need to be involved in your sensory kit development. Because if you are not, it can very easily backfire and do the complete opposite of what you had hoped. Okay. All right. I hope you guys got some benefit out of this list today. And no matter who you are, I think that some of these things might be of benefit. I just wanted to go ahead and add, I want you guys to check out our No Limits Global, which is a phenomenal, ever-growing platform of some of the most amazing experts in autism on the face of the planet. And we are beyond thankful for their participation with us and sharing their great wealth of knowledge with you guys so that you can go on to No Limits Global. You can get to it through our website at autismfl.org and listen to speakers on so many topics. And so it's not just for parents. There's also the whole section just for educators, as well as medical and police and some other things. But I want you guys to check that out. It's we're very proud of the project, and we hope that you will help us get the word out about it. We're also looking for sponsors, and there's some really great opportunities for sponsorships there, where certain levels of sponsors, we can do an interview and they could also be on the platform. So just check that out. I hope you like it. If there's things that you think, oh, wow, you know what? I wish they had this topic. Drop us an email at info@autismfl.org, because we would love to make sure that we include things that you guys are going to benefit by. All right. Okay. Well, I thank you for joining me, and I'll see you guys again next time.